May God's peace and blessings be upon us all. The time has come for the people of God to speak to the people of God. God's holy word is a biblical perspective on the times and events of today. And as always, I come to you with three goals. I come here to educate you, to entertain you, and to evangelize you. As here at God's holy word, we are on a mission to make America righteous, to make the world righteous. And with that, I ask you to please like, share, and subscribe because if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. And so for today's conversation, allow us to go over what is seemingly so much on the internet at this point in time, for as they say in the community, this is part of the culture of today's society. So let us discuss as a topic something that I would like to call rat or rat catcher. And where do these terms come from? Well, these are the derogatory terms that refer to people who are involved in, certain things and they get caught and they tell on other people to get them arrested when it comes down to, let's just say, criminal activities. And so as a result, we have some people that have been dominating the news here lately. I'm sure that everyone has heard about the stir up, the mix up between 50 Cent, Big Meech, which is not really that much of a stir up or a mix up between 50 Cent, Big Meech. Let's add in someone like the Wack 100s and the Crip Max of the world. And as we go through, I think that you'll obviously understand why I added the last two in. So let us talk about 50 and Meech. What is all the fuss about? It's the fuss about, the relationship between Meech and Rick Ross. It's the fuss about concerts being canceled, car shows being canceled, shows being canceled. It's the show about who is the rat, or it's the show about who is the rat catcher. Is that what the big issue is? Who told on who? Who told on the Cali cartel guy? Who told on the St. Louis guy? The names are well known, so it's no need to, just throw the names out there because, of course, you know who the people are. And from my understanding, the lady who was doing the majority of the telling on people, Miss Tammy, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions here. Whether Meech knew about her before she told on Cuff and before she told on the Cali guy, more than likely. Did 50 Cent knew that she was an informer when he chose to do business with her? More than likely. So then how does it turn into a situation where fingers are being pointed? So the question comes down from Meech's perspective, is he guilty by association or is he guilty by cooperation? But then again, from 50's end, he knew who she was. So 50 knew she was a possible informant. So does that make Meech the rat and 50 the rat catcher, or how does that go? But you see, from my perspective, the thing that bothers me is that I sit back and I watch and I notice the things that are going on as far as the rest of the world goes. The rest of the society that continues to feed and pulsate and beat around these type of, let's say, street beefs. And the thing that bothers me is that, you see guys like, I didn't want to drag Wack 100 into it, but there comes a time when I think that as older guys, you know, the OGs I think about are not original gangsters. They are just old gangsters, meaning that you got old. And so, my thoughts are to those situations are things like, you got the Wack 100s of the world. You got the Crip Max of the world. Well known guys. And the thing about it is that for them to be where they are in life today and to still be alive, it just kind of makes you wonder why they accentuate and continue to celebrate. It seems as though the negative and the downfall of our society as a whole. Because when I watch some of their shows and some of their interviews, all they talk about is gang banging this and gang banging that. And my thing is, I feel as though if you have made it to this point in your life, especially considering the fact that you now have platforms and you are successful, that you should be trying to do everything in your power to teach the next generation on how to not walk the path that you walked. And I sit back and I watch guys like, rappers in Atlanta, celebrities in Atlanta. Some of them didn't bow down to this foolishness. But then I sit back and I watch others that did, like, the Bootsies of the world, uh, all the gangsters who are running around, rappers, celebrities who are running around Atlanta, because I happen to live in the city. Running around the city talking about they were going to go pay tribute and take Meech some money because he just got out, and uh, Bootsy talking about he want to put some money in his pocket and put him in a house. And I sit back and I find myself so disgusted because I sit back and I say to myself, let us be clear on who and what these people are. Let us be clear and clear the air and clear this fake mystique and this fake heroism that goes along with drug dealers who are just getting out or whatever the situation may be. Hustlers, let's not badmouth anybody because we have all been on different sides of the coin. And so, what I mean by that is these guys running around paying tribute or paying respect and giving money to a man who probably made more money than he could have ever got counted in his life. But he got caught. Okay? Let us be clear. Let us lay out the truth because, as I say on this network, we are the new and the true media, and we are only bound by telling you the truth. If you go back throughout history and you think about the gangsters, the mafia bosses, if you go back and you think about the Nicky Barnes, if you go back and you think about the Frank Lucases, if you go back and you think about the Chapos, if you go back and you think about the Mexican cartel leaders that got caught, all these guys told. So were all these guys rats? All these guys, as the streets say, snitched. And yet and still, they are still glorified, magnified, and movetized, if that is a word, in the society that we live in today. Rats or rat catchers. Because you see, what's really going on is that we have people in these streets living in a fallacy that there is actually a such thing as respect and honor in the game. And it took many of them to do 20 to 30 years to realize that that is not the case. So, what I say to these rappers and these celebrities and to all these people who want to kiss Big Meech's butt and bring him money for getting caught, take him money because he got caught, take him money as though he is a great representative for the city of Atlanta at this point in time. And you see, that's kind of the confusing part about it is because Atlanta has been Atlanta since the South had something to say back with Andre. So Meech did not make Atlanta. It appears as though Atlanta made Meech. But that is just something for us to think about. But I say to you all, while you're running and taking Big Meech money for getting caught and now being freed, possibly getting other people jammed, because hey, there is truly no honor left in this game anyway. Which is why I don't understand why people who don't comprehend the meaning of the word trap. The definition tells you exactly what the lifestyle is. And so, to everyone who lives in Atlanta, the celebrities, the rappers, the Atlanta Hawks, the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Braves, the Atlanta United, allow me to take the time to emphasize and to remind you that Atlanta, while we're giving money to people who really don't deserve it, while we're giving money to people who probably have had more money than they could ever have counted or spent in their lifetime, allow me to remind you, Atlanta, we have a homeless problem. Once again, Atlanta is supposed to be black man's dream city, from my understanding. And I must remind you that Atlanta, we have a homeless problem. Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Braves, Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta United. We have all of these sports teams in Atlanta. Atlanta's a major city. Atlanta has many Fortune 500 companies. Atlanta is an Amazon hub. And so I remind you, Amazon hub city of Atlanta, we have a homeless problem. To all of the celebrities who come into Atlanta to do concerts, come into Atlanta to make money, everybody who comes into Atlanta, celebrities, we have a homeless problem. And I feel as though this is something that we need to address way more than we need to be addressing who snitched on who and who deserves to do shows, do concerts, and pay respect to someone who I don't feel as though they deserve that when we have people on the street who truly need some help. Atlanta, we have a homeless problem. Let us, as a reference, refer to Luke chapter 14, verses 12 through 14. Luke chapter 14, verses 12 through 14. Then said he also to him that bade him, when thou makest a dinner or a supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, neither thy kinsmen, nor thy rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and a recompense be made thee. But when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame, the blind, and thou shalt be blessed. For they cannot recompense thee, for thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. That lets us know that we should do something for someone who cannot afford or who is unable to do anything effectively to pay us back. Do it because it is the right thing for you to do. And so I say again, Atlanta, we have a homeless problem. Wack100, Crip Mac, all of my old gangsters, not original gangsters, but my old gangsters, excuse me, brothers, the time has come to stop glorifying street beef and to put some healing in for the people. Put something in the people's minds who follow you. Do not lead them astray. Because in order for you guys to be where you are now, Crip Mac, Wack100, in order for you to be where you are now from where you came from, is a situation that I would look at and say that you have truly been blessed. I would say that you have truly been favored by God. Because I remember the gang wars of the 80s and the 90s. They didn't have very good retirement plans. And for you both to not only be free, but to be thriving, let us teach the youngsters who are behind you not to be gangbangers, not to want to be gangbangers. Turn these youngsters from that way to a better way. And if there's not a better way, let us attempt to all work together to find a better way. And above all, stop beefing with 50. That fellow is a music, a money, a mogul terrorist. And it's just not good business for you to really be beefing with him. And now, as always, allow us to talk about the main thing for today. And the main thing for today is JLP equals the LIE. Jesse Lee Peterson. He's lying again. Jesse Lee Peterson. How do I know he's lying again? I know he's lying again because his lips are moving. I know he's lying again because every time he talks, he lying. JLP equals the LIE. But make no mistake about it, for as you watch him, do not allow yourself to be deceived. This is a character Jesse Lee Peterson is playing. This is a character that he has refined and perfected over the last 30 or 40 years, because you must remember Jesse Lee's close to like 80 years old. Okay? And somewhere along the line he realized that being who he is, as far as protecting white society at every twist and turn, he realized that that is very profitable. You see, he realized a long time ago, excuse me, the profitability in telling the truth from a white perspective, telling the story from a white perspective. He realized that it was very equitable to degrade and to put down black people. And he has been perfecting his craft for a very long time, because this is clearly the art of the grift. JLP equals an LIE. Allow me to tell you why. He asked on one of his biblical questions, does God know Satan? Does God know Satan? And Jesse Lee Peterson sat there with a clear face and said to his people and to his congregation and to all of his listeners that God did not know Satan, and Satan did not know God. And I found that to be totally confusing, because, as you must understand, this is the art of the grift. And the thing that is more puzzling about that is that the people that sit in his church, his members of bond, where they are destroying lives and families daily, no one had the nerve to speak up, or either no one at bond reads their Bible. None of his listeners who call in would give this man the truth, would speak the truth to this man as it pertains to the Bible, which means that to me, maybe none of his listeners read the Bible. None of his followers read the Bible, which means that they are just taking whatever Jesse Lee says, which means that Jesse Lee is effectively leading you all to hell. If you think about the Bible, if you have read the Bible, if you think in terms, if you were to just reference from whatever knowledge of the Bible that you have, you would always run to the reference of Job. When God asked Satan, have you considered my servant Job? He's having a conversation with God. How do they not know each other? When the devil attempted to get Jesus to worship him and Jesus told him that man shall not live by bread alone. They had a conversation, and yet Jesse Lee Peterson is convincing people that Satan does not know God. And the sad part about it is that you, as a believer, have a Bible right in front of you. And as opposed to listening to the truth of God's word, you would prefer to listen to the lies of Jesse Lee Peterson, which is why I say that JLP equals an LIE. And so, as always, I would like to give you another verse for another day on this earth. On a special occasion today, because we are doing a section I would like to call FDD, where we are fixing doctrine daily. And so we're going to fix Jesse Lee Peterson's doctrine right now. If you would, please go with me to Ezekiel chapter 28. Ezekiel at chapter 28, I will use the King James Version. And whatever version you use will certainly be fine with me. I think we will start at verse 13 as I read to you the description God gives of Lucifer, who is Satan, who according to Jesse Lee is somebody that he does not know. But allow me to show you that he knows Lucifer, who is Satan, very well. And it reads at verse 13, Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou wast created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. It appears to me as though Satan knows God, and it appears to me as though God knows Satan, which is why I say to you, JLP is an LIE. As always, please help us spread the gospel. Help us make America righteous. Help us make the world righteous. All subscriptions, all super chats, all super stickers, all sponsorships, they're all used to further the gospel. And we always ask that you like, share, and subscribe, because if you share the know, then the show will grow. And if you share the know, then the word will go. Amen. May God bless you and keep you.